Okay, this is the greatest news in all of Pokemon Sun and Moon because there's been another massive ban wave of players using hacked Pokemon, and it also answers the question of where's our Blazikenite, Swampert, and Sceptilite. So there's a Japan Online Championship Series that has been going on for like a month and a half right now, and players are getting banned if they are using hacked Pokemon in it. However, their participation prize was going to be the Hoenn Mega Starter. So I pulled up the page right here on the Japanese global link, and you can see that, yeah, even though it's broken English and like broken translations, pretty much that's how they get their reward prize. And the rewards haven't been given out because they're working on banning players. So Internet Tournament Pokemon Japan Championships qualifying, players that have been using modified Pokemon, they're getting banned, and they're getting banned hard. This is a VGC 2017 ban because the way that it works for the Japanese online qualifiers is that their system is much better than ours. And what they've been doing is there's an online qualifier. You do good there, you go to a real life event. Do good at the real life event, then you go to Worlds. Like for America, it's totally pay to win, that you have to go to different events in different states and different regionals and premier events at different seasons. So you have to be overly active. You have to do way too much work to actually get enough championship points to qualify, and then you have to go to international challenges. So if you want the best chance, you have to travel outside the country, go to the international challenge, get some points there, come to the international challenge or the nationals and whatever, and then just kind of get enough points possible, and then you eventually make it in. Japan's system is different. They're doing an online championship series, and they're actually giving away prizes like travel stipends and invites to Worlds. Well, if you get caught, if you were one of the banned players, your VGC 2017 is done for. That's how serious this ban wave is. It's even gotten to the point that if you have travel stipends paid out, or if you get any kind of rewards, you will owe that money back if you have been caught. I love it. Pokemon Company is being savage with the bans, finally, and that's kind of why I love this post from Joe Merrick. So he's going all over everything right now. Oh snap, the reason the rankings from Japan Championships took so long is that they had to weed out hackers. Ratings are now out though, so we should have all the Mega Stones soon. Imagine they wanted consistency with their release. They're saying that people who got through can still be disqualified. So even if you think you're safe right now, even if you've gotten like a rating or placing right there, they're still trying to find hackers. So it looks like they just kind of made like a massive sweep, and then they're going in and they're probably checking all the top players. They're probably checking all of like the high qualifiers or people that have some suspicious activity that they need to dig in a bit deeper to. So you might be safe right now, but then you can have your prizes stripped from you in the future if you are caught with anything hacked. Good to see the Pokemon Company clamping down on this, especially top level stuff. Also, there's a serious ban wave on people who modded their 3DS. Wow, with the Japan Championships, they do seem serious right now. So yeah, modded 3DS is done. Modded Pokemon, done. Everything is a crackdown right now, and it's just before Worlds. So I don't know. I feel like I might need to take back some of my criticisms of the Pokemon Company. I've been saying they've just been letting all this hacking slide, and, they need to do more. Maybe this was their plan. Now, I'm not confirming that, but maybe this was their plan, You let the hackers get confident, You make them think that the Pokemon Company isn't going to do anything to shut them down. Then you have your big qualifying event where maybe there's just an overwhelming amount of hacking right before Worlds, and you just shut it down. That's when you make your big ban wave push. That's when because I guess there could be issues. They stop PK Hex temporarily, or they do some kind of patch. Well, then that means people are going to have a chance to adapt, and it's going to be harder to catch that before Worlds. So maybe for the last couple months, they've been really studying it. They've been really understanding and analyzing how PK Hex modifies game data, how that can be detected through game sync and online tournaments, and then they're using it for this last big event. If that's the case, then that's awesome, and maybe the Pokemon Company is not trying to allow hacking. However, this is only for Japan. We know that there's a lot of American and European players that admit to hacking on Twitter, that have hacked Pokemon, that are just shameless about it, and they're still top VGC players. You can even catch them. They've been using illegal Pokemon for most of the VGC 2017 season, as well as last year. So these are also the people you need to keep your eye on, but if that's also something that they do, that there's an international crackdown at some point as well, then things are going to get serious. But that's why I think it's crazy. You can still be disqualified, and you have to repay the travel award if caught. But I do also think that it goes back to like how much better Japan's system is, because I would prefer that. I would prefer that I just have to do some online tournaments, get my qualifications that way, and then I go to the nationals, because it seems like the real life event is kind of like their effective nationals, that you get the best players from the online competition, you get a top rating there, I guess top 32 or top 40, then you go to Worlds. Then you get travel awards, you get money, and then you go to Worlds, and then you get more travel awards and money and all kinds of cool swag like that. Instead of having to like jump through all the hoops that you have to do outside of Japan. And now that they're cracking down on hackers, it might open up for a really solid 2018. Because my biggest issue with like just allowing all these hackers is that they're like, oh, Pokemon Company allows you to hack as long as the Pokemon isn't illegal. And that's just going off of the bullcrap of legal, illegal, and legit. That doesn't exist. That people will say, or hackers will say, that a legal Pokemon is even a modified Pokemon, but if it has possible stats. This proves otherwise. This isn't like one of those other Pokemon Global Link ban waves. There's been like 10,000... I think it was like 13,000 players banned from the Pokemon Global Link for using like modified Pokemon, and for the most part, those are the obvious hackers. Those are the people that are like trying to hack in Marshadow or shiny Pokemon that don't exist or anything like that, as well as give them impossible moves and impossible stats, and like those are, for the most part, those are gonna be the players banned by this. But these are VGC players. These are people that are getting past the initial hack check, you know, anything that checks out for impossible stats or impossible moves. And these players are getting banned for having hacked quote-unquote legal Pokemon because guess what? They are illegal. This is it. This is like the last defense that hackers had, that if the Pokemon is possible to obtain in-game and you gen it in, then that means it's legal. No. You lost it, guys. That these are the very players, these are the very Pokemon that are getting banned and disqualified from Worlds qualification, as well as having you maybe have to repay your travel awards and getting completely banned from VGC 2017. That's why this is the greatest news ever, because it completely destroys anything, any justification that the hackers had, even though that was already done. It's like clear black and white in the rules. Any modified Pokemon is banned. Any BKX, any genning, anything that modifies your game in any way, that is not allowed because it's illegal, because it gives an unfair advantage, it's breaking the rules, it's cheating 100%, and that's, I think, like the greatest news we could have ever had. So I wonder if my theory is maybe what they did, or maybe they just got fed up. Like maybe it was the other way around, that, okay, they were hoping that hacking wouldn't be this bad. You cannot have a serious competitive scene. You cannot have world events where you're having hundreds of players qualify, or like thousands of players competing to get to worlds. You cannot have a serious competitive scene when a majority of the scene is filled with open just hackers that are shameless in how hard they cheat the game. I want to keep going further. You know, you can just look on YouTube. You can see all the people that are scumbag giving away all these hacked Pokemon. And it's same on Wonder Trade. It's non-stop. But at least for the competitive scene, I want to see these hack checks implemented online for the battle spot as well. It does make it easier to reverse engineer, sadly. But I want to see bigger steps. Like, well, I mean, like, this is the biggest step. Like, I'm not trying... Okay, I'm happy. I'm not trying to say I'm not happy and I can't be pleased or anything like that. But I want to see this like trickle down to casual. I want the hackers to have zero justification. I want them to be completely removed from Pokemon, and Game Freak is showing that they have the power to do this, that they're doing bans, they're cracking down on modded DSs, because this is illegal. It's illegal to do this stuff, and it looks like they're finally stepping down, and that's a really good thing to see. So we're going to see how this ends up shaking out as well. I had a couple of other thoughts, but I've pretty much like stated everything in videos at this point. That, you know, this is what we need. This is the biggest issue in Pokemon right now. Looks like the Pokemon Company agrees, and it feels good being right. I think that's it. Like after all the hate I've gotten for following the rules, being a legitimate player, you are now in the minority. You are going to be attacked for being a legitimate player in Pokemon right now. It looks like it's all starting to swing back. That hacking, that cheating is not being tolerated anymore. And that's going to be a great thing to see as we go into Worlds for VGC 2017. My only concern is that maybe with the US Internationals coming up in St. Louis, that this is maybe a little bit of a heads up for the hackers, that what they'll say is like, oh, they're starting to crack down. Maybe they were going to implement their like ultra mega super hack check at the Internationals and try to get players that way, and players that have already qualified. Like there's people right now, there's people right now that have like enough championship points to qualify for Worlds. So if they don't show up to the event, or if they stop hacking for that event, then that means they won't be detected, even though they earned all those championship points through illegitimate means with modified Pokemon while cheating. So it's still not the most perfect system, but at least Japan implemented it. They're cracking down on it super hard. I just want to see these steps. I want to see bigger pushes. I want to see a removal of all these players that are using cheated Pokemon. That way we can have a fair scene and maybe a better scene. Hopefully VGC 2018, it could be the same. Like, I feel that Pokemon Company, they would save tons of money. Well, maybe not. Actually, I was thinking about it, because regionals, the thing about the trading card game regionals is that you have the event space, and then you just kind of like rent out an extra room, where you just kind of like split the event space in half and have VGC players on the other side. So maybe it's not going to be like too much of a venue savings, but also maybe like prize support as well. Like I would enter online even if there was like a $500 prize, or even if there was no prize. If I just got like championship points, I'd be more ready to enter online than actually like make a trip out to regionals to have a chance at winning like $1,000 cash or something, like the current regionals championships. So yeah, like they could save money on the prizes and then just do everything online, and then have one big IRL event that gives you prize money as well as travel to Worlds. That would be a much better system. And also, like with this international challenge for Japan, that, you know, you have the Japan Championships. This is where your qualification is. This is where, if you are using hacked Pokemon at any point throughout the season, you'll be caught here, and then you won't be able to go to Worlds. So at least this is going to be like the gatekeeper. This is where all that happens. Same for the IRL event. So this seems like a better system for having anyone participate. That there could be some kid that lives in the middle of nowhere who doesn't have a lot of money. You know, this is kind of where I grew up. That back in the 4th generation, back in the 5th generation, when I was in my prime of Pokemon battling, when I was the best I've ever been at the game, and I knew I was definitely a Worlds competitor. We just didn't have the money. Our family couldn't go out to regionals just so the kid could go and play some Pokemon. But that means, like, if you have these online challenges and these online qualifiers, it gives those people an opportunity. It means that you have a chance to actually, even if you live in the middle of nowhere, you can get the prize, you can go out to the real event, and then you can use that to go to Worlds. So now this is actually a better system of setting up people for having, like, dreams of becoming a Pokemon champion and a Pokemon master, instead of, oh, I have enough money to where I can participate in every regional event, just drive or fly out to every event, and then eventually I'll just soak up enough CP. Even though I'm not a top competitor, you still get to go to Worlds and maybe even get lucky at Worlds or something crazy like that. So system's a lot more fair. Banning is definitely something that need to happen, and it looks just really good for Pokemon overall. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.